Discovery's score is good. It just is. Their score is, I like all Trek shows' scores. Discovery's is definitely on the upper end of that spectrum. It's a good score. Welcome Matters With. I'm your host, CBSPhillipBrian. Today we're here to discuss Trek Matters with you. 3 episodes, episodes 7, 8, and 9. So let's start with 7. Mal and Locke are in custody. Locke is hurt bad, but Dr. Culber's on it. The Breen are coming to collect their fugitive and his Bonnie. It's a political standoff between the Federation and the Breen Imperium. Adira and Tilly turn to Commander Reno for help solving the next phase of finding the progenitor tech.
It literally is Genesis.
Tig Notaro as Reno is the highlight of the episode. This is the character that Paramount should be building a Starfleet Academy show around. This episode tries to sell us on the Breen as a Borg or Gorn or Jim Hadar level threat. I don't buy it.
Illogical. Totally.
And that fight in sickbay is nonsense. But it is well shot. I am disappointed. I expected better. I give it a C. But there are some notable performances. Wilson Cruz, David Ajala, Tara Rosling, and especially the aforementioned Tig Notaro elevated this episode from being total shambles. And that takes us to episode 8. But first, remember, if you like talking Trek, like, subscribe, and share so I can talk more Trek with you and your friends. Season 5, Episode 8, Labyrinths. Captain Burnham finds herself trapped in a mindscape created to test her worthiness to access the progenitor's powerful technology. Meanwhile, Book, Rayner, and the Discovery crew must fend off the Breen long enough for her to escape. The episode is visually stunning, masterful sound effects, and a lot of missing faces from the crew. Where are Bryce, Awosakan, Detmer, and Nilsson? They have all but disappeared from the show. Captain Burnham tries to navigate the Labyrinth library to solve the puzzle and find the progenitor tech in a plot that grows tiresome quickly. I really liked the idea of the adventure arc of this season. However, the promise of the premise is not something that they've managed to capture. With Michael and Rayner trapped in the intergalactic library, Reese is in command of the Discovery. This plays well. It's really nice to see this underused character get some proper attention. Captain Burnham finds that self-discovery is the secret to the story's forward progress in this episode. Sonequa delivers a fantastic performance when she sits in the moment and the character drops the bravado. There is a section in this episode where I am reminded of what a tremendous actress she is. The stuff with Book and Rayner and the Breen is and the stuff with Mal and the Breen is even less than that. The episode really attempts to be introspective and interesting, but for the most part fails, and the ending might be the weak point of the entire season. Once again, I hoped for better. I would give it a C, but Sonequa's moments, quiet moments as Captain Burnham this week, lifted it a little bit, and it's going to get a C+.
Logical.
Season 5, Episode 9, Lagrange Point. The Breen have the progenitor tech. It is the penultimate episode, and that is a long, cold open. I like Book as a character, but there's no reason to have him around other than we just like him. The story reasons they keep giving us for him to be here just don't fly. The Discovery crew must get the MacGuffin from the Breen. Mal is... but much of the plot is anchored to her. I wanted to love this episode. I really wanted to love this episode, and I don't. Nearly all the stuff on the Breen ship falls flat, and there's a lot there, and almost all of it just is... I'm really disappointed. They try. They really, really try. Maybe tried too hard.
Yikes.
A lot of the burden of failure falls on Mal's storyline with the Breen. This transition from a few weeks ago or earlier in the season, how she was such a fugitive that they had to have and they hated her so much and there was a blood debt unlike anything we'd ever seen in Star Trek or in storytelling. It was epic. To them, so many of them blindly following her, that transition, didn't buy a bit of it. And Eve Harlow's performance isn't helping the matter.
Dang it.
But, the cliffhanger's pretty good. For all of this episode's faults, it serves its primary function fairly well and sets up the finale. It gets a C+ as a whole. When Jonathan Frakes' precise direction, spectacular special effects, and epic sound mixing cannot save your episode from mediocrity, there's a foundational flaw in the storytelling. I'm cheering for you, Discovery, and I really hope you stick the landing. We'll talk soon.